I wanted to do another update on the Boston Marathon simply because I believe it is a very pivotal point in the history of humanity in terms of what is playing out on the physical world stage and the erosion of confidence in the United States that's taking place. I did a blog post, which I will post a link on the description in this podcast, which really highlights some of the other dots that I've been connecting. There's an article that I posted in this story on my blog showing how Waco, Texas, Oklahoma bombing, Virginia Tech, Columbine school shootings, and the Boston Marathon were 5 events which were, I consider, false flags that were staged in the month of April. Now this fertilizing plant in Texas is another false flag, but I can't, and there are others, but that are already occurring in this month. But it's like, how much time do I want to spend, showing all these different false flags? So hopefully you're watching this on your own if you have any interest. But I simply don't want to be spending a lot of time on this, simply because if we look at this world, the physical world, it's really gone mad. I mean, it's really going mad. If you look at the madness that we live in, it's mad, and it's passing as normal. And so we live, if we go on the premise that we live in a simulation, within a simulation, the artificial simulation that is imposed upon the natural simulation as pure consciousness, as a conscious being, you are here at a very low level of consciousness. An aspect of you is playing out this scenario. And within this artificial simulation, which is simply, the artificial simulation is a simulation that is imposed on the actual natural simulation. So what we're going to see is a real distinction between the natural organic simulation that we are housed in this physical world and the artificial simulation. There's going to be a real distinction between the two worlds. And there's always going to be a percentage of beings on this plane at any time that have the possibility to be able to meet whatever the possibilities and potentials of their time. And so there is an opportunity for you, the possibility to be able to live out the magic of what it is to be in human form. That's the opportunity before you. But it only happens the moment you surrender to the experiment, because this truly is an experiment. Surrender to the experiment in the moment. And when you do that, you're going to be able to see more. You're going to be able to see how blind human beings are. You're going to be able to see how unaware they are. They don't see at the same level as you. And we're all seeing at different levels. And so when I share here, it's simply a sharing of what I'm seeing. But in order for you to see, you have to be in the right place to see. And you cannot truly see if you're only seeing through the mind, through the 5 sense personality aspect. Now, I want to tell you that I'm changing the focus of my sharing here. It's evolving. I had about 2,000 people on my subscriber list, and now it's down to about close to 1,000, which is fine, because I really want to be more focused about what I'm sharing here and my intention here. And I think that a lot of people who subscribe to my channel subscribe based on the podcast that I did last year on Whitney Houston, the death of Whitney Houston. And I really don't want to be sharing in the whole conspiracy movement. What I want to do is show how the evolution of consciousness is simply being captured, enslaved through this artificial simulation. And that, as I've been talking about for the past 3 years now, almost, how our reality is well scripted, well choreographed by the power control force. So, in essence, our reality has been hijacked, right? So we're living through someone else's program reality. So we're captured and we're being used by the power control force. And the reason why I call them the power control forces is simply because it's an energetic. It's a frequency that holds this system, this artificial simulation together. And the frequency is a male force. It's a dominated male force energy, which is primarily held through the frequency of fear. And that's how humanity is held captive in this frequency of fear, not able to get through, or to able to even see through the deception, the program. We live in a cult system. It's a cult. It's a cult system, and the background frequency is built on social codes and programs that we all adhere to. It's based on our conditioning. And so many people and so many beings, so many human beings on this plane never get a chance because of this frequency that we're locked into. They give up their lives. They give up their purpose, their potential, and simply throw everything away for what? This illusion that we are embedded in. They never get basically a chance because they are being conditioned. We are being conditioned from birth. It's an old model of experiencing life through the mind. Everything is left up to the mind. Every decision is left up to the mind, and every decision is rooted in fear that has to be dealt with. Because every move that you make based on fear is moving you deeper and deeper and deeper into the conditioning that has been imposed upon you, that continuously allows you to give up your sovereignty through fear. And this is the dilemma that we are in, which we must transcend. We are not here to think our way through this life. We are not. We don't have to. This is the control mechanism of the power control force that is used to enslave us, slave humanity into a low vibrational consciousness. The smallest aspect of who and what you are is experiencing this reality. If you're only experiencing it through the five sense personality aspect of you. And so we are not here to be paralyzed by fear of the mind. We're not here to be distorted by the conditioning of the world around us. That's the opportunity that there's a few who will be able to transcend this matrix, who will be able to hack this matrix and have a different experience. The opportunity is for you to create a new story. Instead of the story that has been given to you, you have an opportunity to create a new story. A story that is in more alliance with who and what you are. And you do that through the body. Your body is a temple, is a vehicle. So you have to transcend the mind, and the mind is to be used by the vehicle. But hopefully you can sort of get an understanding of what I'm talking about here, and that this is how you hack the matrix. This is how you transcend this physical world, is that you release the grip, the conditioning on the mind through your belief systems. That's the conditioning through the belief systems, and that have been imposed on you since birth. Your body knows. Your body is a temple. This is the place. This is a great gift that's been given to you, is your physical vehicle. We all have this gift. We've been endowed with these incredible physical vehicles that we never pay attention to. And so it's time to start paying attention to your physical vehicle and start using your physical vehicle as your internal guidance system to guide you through this physical world. There's a world that you need to be experiencing through the physical vehicle. And you cannot be touched by the power control force. You'll no longer be subjected to the illusion as you progressively move into experiencing your life through physical form. That's the new model. It's to be able to use your physical vehicle and its consciousness that exists within it. You have to trust this. You have to trust your form as a conscious being. Because if you don't let go, if you don't allow the vehicle to run your life, you'll be forever lost in the old model. And that's what the power control force wants. There will be no transformation. There will be no awakening. It's not possible for you to do it in the mind. You can't get there with your mind and all the stuff that you think about, that you think that may be important to you. All that stuff that you ponder about, the this and that, what you think you could or might or should or would or could do. This is insanity. That's all it is. It's insanity. And yet there is beauty within the mind. There is a context of beauty within the mind, but it's not being used properly. There's an imbalance. The mind truly is an incredible thing. I love it deeply. But I only love it because I'm at peace with this process of being a being that's living through my uniqueness. Allowing my vehicle, physical vehicle, and the consciousness that resides there to guide me, to free me from the burden of this uselessness, this stupidity of the mind that keeps running our lives. I no longer live through the construct of the mind, because it brings tremendous amount of pain and suffering. Each indecision, each lack of clarity, each moment, you are paying a price. Everyone pays a price when we decide to navigate and live through the mind construct. But that's how the power control force keeps you locked within their system. So what I'm sharing with you here is some insights into how you can transcend this matrix and transcend the old model into the new model, the new human being. Because as things intensify, my question constantly comes to mind. The question that constantly comes to mind is, how are you going to take care of yourself when you're going to be living amongst a madness? You're going to be living amongst people who are literally going to be going mad and insane. And you might feel like that's happening to you too. So I'm trying to provide some tools, some resources on how to navigate through this quagmire of a system. Because waking up out of this system is a very hard task. And some of us are doing that. And we're sharing our perspective on how it's worked for us. And it's just simply a sharing. It may not be the path for you, but I do believe that those that are listening to this podcast are on that trajectory, are on that path. I'm on that path to creating a new story, a story that is unique to you. You know, it's about creating a story in which we're no longer stuck in this world, in this old model, because it's not going to go away. So we have to learn to live within it. And so when we look at knowledge, the most astonishing knowledge is the recognition that we truly are a binary consciousness designed to differentiate. We're not to be honoring or celebrating our similarities or our oneness. We are here to celebrate our differences. Why is it that we all look different? That's just simply a reminder that we are here to celebrate our differences. Most people on this planet don't look alike. We all look different. We all have our own uniqueness. And as we can look at one another and see that we are all unique individuals, that's what we are here to celebrate, is our uniqueness, our differences. That's the new model. We are to celebrate our sovereignty. We are designed to operate out of our own sovereignty. We are designed to eat uniquely. We are designed to live uniquely. We are designed to be in unique environments with unique perspectives. We are not here to be generalized. All we are here to do is to rewrite the story and make it our own. So I'm going to leave you with that, but click on the link and you can read a little bit more on this podcast and what I introduced in the very beginning about the different staged events, the major events that happen, that have been happening in April, and just connecting some more dots. But I share this little piece with you, and in my closing, in that it is truly hard sometimes to listen to the radio, listen to the news, especially last week when I heard about the two suspects that were arrested. You could see that these young men were being used. They had nothing to do with this, or if they were with this Boston Marathon, if they were like Manchurian candidates. But there are so many clues. The Power Control Force wants you to know that they are facilitating and implementing these scenarios of these events. They want the United States citizens to know, to lose confidence in their government. They want to expose what it is that they're doing so that you become lawless, so that you fight the system so that they can impose more rules and laws to enslave you. You have to understand that this system was built for the purposes of being destroyed. The plan that you are living through was a plan that you've been living through for the past 100 years. It was a plan maybe even more than 100 years ago that was designed to build an infrastructure within this physical world that could be demolished, that could be, yes, demolished. And that's hard for people to believe, and I know to share it. This is simply a sharing, and I've shared on this level before. But you have to come to the realization that we are living in an artificial simulation that has been created for you, not by you. We're living through someone else's dream of power and control. And how do they do that? Through negativity. And so for the few that can transcend this matrix, that have the capacity to create a new story, that is the opportunity for us. Yes, we highlight some of the aspects to show what is happening. That is, we must know or understand on some level the battle plan of that which has been imposed upon us, the simulation, the artificial simulation that we are living within. And we must come up with our own strategy and battle plan to circumvent that which is being imposed on us. You know, I struggle daily with what it is that I'm to do while I'm here, knowing what I know, living through this madness. And so I have taken the necessary steps, the necessary precautions to take care of myself. I live off grid. I live in the wilderness. I used to live in the city, but I no longer live in the city because I know too much. And when you know, you have to take the necessary steps to protect yourself. And so I will share more on this in the future, but really this is the time for us to take back our power, to reclaim our power. And for those of us who are still have many years to be here on this planet, you really have to start taking matters into your own hands and become the formidable force. Live out your life purpose with true ferocity and meaning, and live in correction. Live a correct and authentic life, and align yourself with people who resonate on the same frequency as you do. That's the opportunity. I thank you so much for tuning in. Again, this is Karis Alexander with Deep Truth Media. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.